welcome to another episode of the Firmware Update, episode 135. This podcast is a place for all your news, reviews, for everything under the PlayStation rainbow. My name is Malcolm Spinedi, and joining me, as always, Joe Garcia.
That's me.
How you been, buddy?
Been all right. Yeah, been okay.
Excellent. Now, this show is going to mark a special occasion, as this will be the first episode that'll be on YouTube as well.
Fancy pants.
Sweet. We should probably introduce ourselves and tell people a little bit about the show. Who
am I even talking to?
What's that?
Who am I even talking to?
Well, I'm Malcolm Spinedi. This is Joe Garcia. As we said right at the front, we've been doing this podcast for how many years now?
Oh, boy. We've been doing the firmware update since, like June or July of 2012. So, and then we've been podcasting in general since even before that. So.
Indeed. We first met each other working on a site called PlayStation University.
Which doesn't even show up on the internet anymore, by the way.
Nope. It's a shame, 'cause that was a sweet name, I thought.
Yeah, psuni.com is just dead. Not even, you can't load it.
From there, we head over to Front Towards Gamer for a little while, had some fun there, and met some nice people. After that, we went to the Geek Link, which sadly I don't think is even up anymore.
Well, I've got an update on PS Uni as I loaded it up just to see, and apparently it's I don't know what it is. it's the page heading just says fantasy inspiration, and it's a whole bunch of fantasy art. So that's what that is now.
Okay. But yeah, essentially we've been talking about PlayStation for a long time. Back when talking about PlayStation wasn't necessarily the coolest thing to talk about in video games.
I don't know what you mean by that. I mean, whatever.
It was an unfortunate opinion that thankfully has changed with the advent of the PlayStation 4. But we've been doing this show under one name or another, where we essentially break down all the news under the world of PlayStation. And we even do reviews as well, such as this episode. I will be reviewing The Order 1886.
You managed to play it without all the vital information, Malcolm?
Yes, Dick.
Without all the most vital chapter breakdowns that you need?
Yes, for those of you wondering what Joe is referring to, I asked him for probably the simplest of requests. I asked him for if he could just find out how many chapters are in the game, just so I could divvy it up or find out exactly how long I have to go. Because was actually into the story, small little plus there for what I did like about it. And if I looked it up, chances are there would be some sort of description that would give away something. It would be maybe just one sentence, but I didn't want to be given away to anything. But Joe, being a dick, as I mentioned earlier, spoilers, he would not do it. Instead, giving me a really dumb equation, like if it takes 5 hours to beat the game, times that by 2, and I should have the number of chapters.
Yeah, like 2 hours in, 2.5 hours in, 3 hours in, just multiply it by 2. There you go. You got a good idea of how much longer you got.
Yeah, your equation was way off, first of all, pal. Secondly, yes, it was.
Great. Who cares?
I did.
Why?
Because I just wanted the information. How difficult is it to Google how many levels in The Order 1886 and just send me the answer?
Yeah, because I didn't have anything better to do.
No, you don't. You don't have a job, Joe. I
just sit here on my ass all day.
Yeah, well, what do you do?
Look for jobs.
You look for jobs. How's that going?
Not well.
No, of course it's not going well. And while you're during what I assume it's not nonstop looking for jobs, are you going on your bike, just going up and down the block trying to find help wanted signs like in a '96 movie, or what?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing.
All right. Well, you have I don't know how you can afford a smartphone. You've been without a job probably since the inception of the firmware update. I kid, folks. He's, what would it have been, 6 months now, or?
10 months.
Ugh. Still has a roof over his head. Still has internet. But so what's exactly the wall that you're hitting? Are they looking for more experience? Is there like nothing in the entire city of Chicago right now? Or
I'm not exactly sure, Malcolm. If I knew, I would fix it.
God damn. Dude, you may have to do fast food.
Oh, I'll just live under a bridge. It's okay.
You're headed down that road, pal. I hate to break that to you. But anyway, yes, later in the show we will have a review of the Order 1886. Is it anywhere near as bad as everyone is making it out to be? You'll hear my take on it. But that is later on in the show. Joe, out of curiosity, have you been playing anything this week?
I mean, besides more WWE Supercard, not really.
Right. Well, how about this? Different
I've
question.
got Metroid. I've been playing Metroid on the 3DS.
Oh, which Metroid?
Metroid.
Just the first one, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
Is this your first? Was this your first time playing that game?
No, I've tried playing it a few times before, but I figured, Axiom Verge is coming out fairly soon. That'll be a new story later, and I figured I'd play Metroid. Why not?
Now, was this one of the club reward, one of the last few that you used, or did you just buy it?
No, I have had it since they lowered the price on the 3DS so long ago for the Ambassador program. When to make good for people who bought the 3DS at the ridiculous $250 or whatever it was initially, they gave us a bunch of free games that just never appeared on the Virtual Console for whatever reason, and Metroid was one of them.
Now, here's something I didn't know. It's possible to beat Metroid in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a sight to behold. The whole Metroid series, like if you want to, hate yourself for the lack of skill you have, just go to YouTube and look up Metroid speedruns. And this is for any of the Metroids out there. It's incredible watching people destroy this game in like 2 hours, or in Metroid's case 5, because there is a very difficult to do but possible trick where because in order to get to Mother Brain you need to kill her 2 generals, I guess, but it's possible to get across the trap they created so that you couldn't, but it's just really difficult, and it's impressive still, but wow. All right, yeah, I'm a huge fan of Metroid, so that's cool. I've been playing I actually got a chance to play the start of Majora's Mask. Have you ever played that one?
I have not.
It's a very interesting take on it. Like, it makes use of the fact that, because you're basically repeating the same 3 days over and over and over. It's like a Groundhog Day, except you have 3 days instead of just one. And you could take advantage. Like, there's a lottery in the game that takes place on each day. And sure enough, like once you find out what the winning numbers are, you could just keep winning that lottery each and every single time.
And what does that get you?
I don't know. I haven't had a chance to win the lottery yet. I'm still playing through on those days. And you can take the rubies that you get and put them in the bank, which somehow survives the time going back in time. Because otherwise you would just lose all the money you had because you had 0 at the start of the first day. So when you go back in time, like any items you got, like arrows or bombs or money, just gets reduced to 0 when you have to go back in time. And it sounds frustrating as heck, but
yeah,
so far so good. It's a very interesting Zelda, which all the Zeldas are. They all are an interesting take on. They're all different from one another, which is one of the reasons I love the series so much. So. Yeah, enjoying it so far. It's going to take a while, but I've actually been playing Monster Hunter more than anything. I'm really shocked by how much I've been getting into this game.
Yeah, I've never gotten into it, so good for you.
Yeah, did you ever play it, or?
Nah.
Well, it's super fun and addictive, hunting down these creatures and getting bits of them to create better weapons and armor. So, yeah it's think Destiny, except it's fun to grind. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
All right. Joe's just going to no-sell me and this entire conversation, it seems.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, Monster Hunter, I mean, okay, sure.
You can at least try to. I mean, I
don't even know how to try. Monster Hunter is so impenetrable.
Dude, you're a freaking journalist. I didn't care that much about Dying Light, but I still contributed to that conversation.
Not a journalist.
Well, you were.
Barely. The most journalistic thing I've ever written was a write-up about the Pizza Hut app on the Xbox 360.
This is a tremendous first impression you're giving to the YouTubers right now.
Just so you know.
All right.
Just so you can stop pretending to take video game journalism seriously.
We are journalists, dude. We report on stuff.
Well, I mean, we repeat stuff that other people found out.
Yeah. Welcome to journalism. That's what it is.
That's not journalism.
That is journalism.
It's regurgitation.
Even the guys who originally report on it are just repeating something they heard.
Well, yeah. That's original reporting. That's fine. But once you're like, oh yeah, look at this thing somebody else found out. That's not true.
Yeah, the only time it's like for real, whatever your definition of journalism is, because it's when they have the guy talking about it live for the very, very first time.
Yeah, that's journalism.
Yeah, that's very rare. Like, you can't turn on Fox and say that's journalism, for Christ's sake.
That's bad journalism.
Yeah,
but it is journalism.
It isn't. Stop it. All right. Folks, we have a very jam-packed show, but before we get to the order and everything else, let's start with the news. All right, Joe. It's time to read the news and I guess not be journalists. So, all right, what happened this week?
I will repeat what other journalists found out.
Yeah, welcome to journalism. Even they do that. Even though they're like, yeah, from IGN. You know, like, yeah.
IGN is absolutely not journalism. 2 journalistic things have ever happened at IGN.
All right, so what happened?
All right. On Polygon, the journalist there found out that Sony is hosting a Project Morpheus event during GDC, the Game Developers Conference, next week. On March 3rd, specifically. It's going to be in a nearly 4-hour event focusing on the virtual reality headset, Project Morpheus. Everybody's going to be giving hands-on demos of the system, along with an update on the company's plans for VR. So I'm guessing they may or may not finally give a date and a price for that thing. That'd be interesting to see.
If you had to take a guess, Joe, what would you say the price will be?
$8,000.
Seriously, what?
Well, I don't know. Sony fucking, for all the good stuff that they make, they have a very bad tendency of overpricing it. So, I mean...
Well, can you really say that? After PS4?
Sure, because, I mean, because this is the company making $1,000 Walkman MP3 players and fucking $200 micro SD cards for ultimate fucking audio quality or whatever the hell we talked about last week.
Well, okay, granted, but those are all unique items. If it's like a unique item, they'll do it. But
nothing unique about a micro SD card. They just stamp the words audiophile on it or whatever the fuck, and they charge an extra $50 for it.
Well, the Vita card is a card that works exclusively with Vita, hence...
No, micro SD card.
What's that?
Micro SD.
Wait, they make their own $1,000 micro SD card?
We talked about this last week. You never pay attention to anything I say, Malcolm.
Well, you just admitted you're not a journalist. Why should I listen to you?
Because I'm loud and annoying, and that's all the internet is.
All right, so remind me, because my memory's a little bit on the fritz.
Yeah, clearly. Last week they announced like some like micro SD card, like regular looking micro SD card, 32 gigs, and it's like $170 because it apparently they did something or other that they claim.
Oh yeah, it's like it transfers data faster, like at 1 million times or something like that.
Yeah, even though micro SD cards do just fine now. But they want to charge extra $50 for a micro SD card, so that's what they're doing. Okay.
On
top of that, they have like $1,000 Walkman MP3 players for this that claim the same thing. They're like, oh, the ultimate in audio quality. It's like, oh, yeah, I mean, no.
Well, number one, they're never going to let the Walkman go. They still want to try MP3s, even though that's what phones are now. I mean, I mean, sorry. I mean, once I figured out how to get podcasts on my Android phone, there went the iPod. I mean, considering there's going to be other VR headsets, like I know Samsung is working on one. Of course, Oculus is, always there, but not. It's going to have to be competitively priced. However, considering it looks like they're going to be first, unless Samsung has their own VR thing that's going to be happening too.
Mm-hmm.
I know at my AT&T store, there's been a display set up for the VR thing, believe it or not, but we haven't gotten the unit yet. But it's there. The display for it is there. The place where the goggles would go is right there, but nothing as of yet. So it's probably going to. I wouldn't be surprised if at GDC something gets announced. In which case, I would be surprised if it's over $1,000 if they set the price.
Yeah,
because you got to figure they're going to want people to get it.
I just wonder when it'll actually come out, though. That's what I'm more interested in.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has been talking about VR headsets forever, as we've joked around with Oculus. It's like, if Oculus feels kind of in the same vein as the freaking Last Guardian game, where it's like it's always been talked about, but I haven't seen it. Obviously there's more realism to the Oculus, but I just haven't seen anything as far as progress goes.
Yeah.
Are you excited for VR, Joe?
I mean, it's cool. It's probably the future of how we play games in the mid future, I guess. Not necessarily the near future or the far future, but
it's going to be a lot better for our grandkids.
Yeah, probably.
It's like we're going to get it. It's going to look like the Virtual Boy. It's going to be all in red.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who wears glasses all the time, I'm not super looking forward to it.
I heard that the Sony's one actually has room. It actually takes in consideration people who wear glasses, so you can fit your glasses into it.
Mm.
So there you go. Sony's better. Anyway. All right. What's next, buddy?
Let's see. Security firm Trend Micro has released its 2014 annual security roundup, which states that the digital attacks on Sony Pictures last year may have cost the company upwards of $100 million. Let's see. There's a quote here: had the conglomerate learned from past incidents and protected its network from possible intrusions, it could have spared itself from this situation, they said. Citing a report from experts at the Center of Strategic and International Studies on Fortune and the potential financial ramification of the attack, Trend Micro pointed to the security breakdown at Sony as a prime example of, quote, the wide spectrum of losses that can hit a company that has failed to secure its network. Yeah, so there you go. That's a lot of money.
My God.
Probably.
And, once again, another point that Sony is not secure. What are they using? Is it just password as their password for it?
Probably.
Freaking A. Wow. Well, I mean, we joke that thanks to this is probably one of the big reasons we're getting Spider-Man in the Marvel Universe again, as they're trying to recoup from this gigantic hit.
I don't think so, because I mean, one of the things that the league found out was that they had been in talks with Marvel already.
True, but I think at that point, because keep in mind when those talks started, they ended. Meaning,
yeah, but I mean, on top of the fact that no money changed hands anyway, so I mean, it's not like they gained money.
Well, yes and no. I mean, the very fact that he's in the Marvel Universe now, and keep in mind, the Spider-Man standalone movies, all that money goes to Sony.
I know, but Captain America: Civil War comes out 2016, and then his proper movie comes out late 2017. So it's not, if it was purely that, then they would have sold them outright for a lot more money.
Mm. And Disney did offer billions for the character, so.
Mm. Which I'm still surprised that they didn't take. Because
Me too. You're hurting for money, dude. Come on. I get The only thing I can assume is they think they'll get more money in the long run with this deal versus just taking $2 billion up front.
My guess, but
I mean, honestly, like, what if you own Spider-Man, Joe, the movie rights anyway? What would you sell it to Disney for?
all of their money.
Yeah, they're not going to do that, Joe.
Well, then I'm keeping it. I'll just grab some action figures and just put up some YouTube videos to keep the license going.
Well, there you go, Joe.
Until they give me all their money.
Well, there you go, Joey, because Disney isn't going to give all their money because they're not ridiculously dumb. And you just, I guess you can sympathize with why Sony would not sell outright like that. So. Now, here's another question. Do you think Fox will sell any of their Marvel properties ever?
No.
Not even Fantastic Four?
No, because, I mean, they're so spiteful. Like, I don't know what the situation is between Marvel and Fox, but it is not nearly as friendly as it is between Sony and Marvel.
Yeah, to a point that we've talked about it a few times. Marvel is like so hates Fox right now that it's actually like taking out their own characters so that they'll make money.
Like they killed Wolverine in the comics. They canceled the Fantastic Four comic completely. I think there's some rule where you can't create new X-Men or whatever.
Yeah, you can't create new mutants because if they did, they would go over automatically to Fox to be used as characters.
Right. And, for so long, the X-Men and the Fantastic Four have basically been excluded for so many, crossover things. Like, they're not like I don't think are they in Lego Marvel or whatever? Or Marvel, I think they're in there, but they're not in a lot of other stuff, surprisingly. I mean,
if they are, it's like an unlockable character, like not central to the story or something like that.
Oh.
It's just a shame because they're an interesting group.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you ever watch I think it was actually on Sunday morning, the Fantastic Four cartoon?
No.
Oh. Well, it was really good. Had a catchy theme song, too. But anyway. If Fantastic Four, the new one that's coming out, bombs hard enough, and let's not be mistaken, it's going to bomb really hard because that movie's hot. Just looking at the teaser, it looks like hot garbage. I mean, Dr. Doom's a hacker. Come on. I could see maybe they're like, all right, fine, $2 billion or something like that, and there you go. It gets back into the fold. But then again, Joe could be right that Fox is just jerks and will just keep it just to spite Marvel. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think the X-Men movies make enough money that they can cover anything that the Fantastic Four loses.
Yeah, sadly. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. He does a fantastic job. But yeah, those movies do well. So X-Men are going to be a part of Fox for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still haven't seen Days of Future Past yet. Did you?
I didn't like it as much as people else did.
Really? Okay.
It's a fine movie. It's not a bad movie, but it's not amazing.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, so I can't argue or agree with you. So, but yeah, well, one of these days I'll check it out. Anyway, what's the next story, buddy?
Let's see here. Nielsen, the market research firm, Nielsen, released a U.S. survey amongst 8th generation console owners, so PS4, Xbox One, and Wii U. And let's see, listing the top factors driving the console purchases, basically. And the top reason for people choosing the PlayStation 4 is that it offers better resolution over its competitors. Interestingly enough, each list, they list the top 5 reasons that people, or the owners age 13 plus, buy each respective console. And that was the top reason for PS4. Second for that was Blu-ray player. Third was the game library. 4, faster processing power. And 5, what family wants. Interestingly, for the Xbox One, the factors in order were brand, innovative features, faster processing power, exclusive games/content, and fun factor was 5th. And for the Wii U, fun factor is the leading reason for that. Followed by better for kids, followed by price/value, backwards compatibility, and exclusive games/content. Let's see. They also released some percentages based on, I guess, previous console ownership. For PlayStation 4 owners, 91% of PS4 owners owned a 7th generation or previous gen console before buying a PS4. 66% owned a PS3, 59% owned a 360, and 72% owned a Wii, while Microsoft Xbox One owners, 88% owned a previous console, 43% owned a PS3 before, 76% owned a 360, 72% owned a Wii. So, some interesting numbers and information.
Yeah, I thought that's pretty interesting there. Now, for those of you who don't know, I mentioned AT&T earlier, which is where I work. We get quite a few customers that come in looking at both the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus, which I assume you're familiar with, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
The larger one display is in 1080p, while the smaller version is in 720p. Now,
which is crazy to me.
Yeah, which essentially it's because due to the size of the screen, there is no difference because it's a smaller screen on the 6. You know, it's condensed enough where any differences that you could see are too small to notice. So the pictures between the two look the same. However, so there's really no difference in display. However, people will still pick the 6 Plus because just the very fact that that the spec sheet says 1080p versus 720, we were like, well, it's obviously more powerful, which it is, and it's interesting that was the number one reason for PS4, as there's been quite a few controversy with some of the releases as of late, where it's at a lower resolution on the Xbox One as opposed to the PS4.
Yeah.
Because granted, it's at 900p or some number that's normally not thrown around. So the difference is, once again, very minor. But just for the fact that it's the full 1080p on PS4 is enough to make people say, hey, it's worth the $100 less or something. I don't know. What was your number one reason for getting the PS4 aside from this show?
Well, I'm a big PlayStation fan. Pretty much all there is to it. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it for me. I also, if I wasn't doing this podcast, I like the exclusives a lot more. I thought they're more plentiful and more enjoyable, and I just enjoy the system. I just enjoyed the PS3 just that much more. Also, the fact that it was $100 cheaper helped the wallet out a little bit. But
yeah, didn't hurt.
Didn't hurt, though. That was a great benefit at the start. Alrighty. So, what else happened this week, Joe?
Let's see. More sales information here. Digital console game sales, or digital game sales, basically, on consoles, generated $263 million in January 2015. And apparently most of that was from PlayStation. Let's see. This comes from intelligence from a firm called Super Data Research. Let's see. So of the $263 million made in January, that's up 14% year over year. The top leading game or the leading generator of money was Grand Theft Auto 5, which made $31.8 million digitally. That includes that includes not only buying the game, but that also includes DLC and skins and whatnot. That's all included with all these games. If there's any DLC, that's included in the amount of money that they made. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare made $23.5 million at number 2. Destiny made $14.2 million at number 3. Dying Light, $12 million at number 4. Battlefield 4 rounding out the top 5 with $11.7 million made.
You'd be happy to know that Dying Light is like a favorite over the GameStop that I frequent.
Yeah.
And so, interesting. What do you take away from that list there, Joe?
People like buying DLC, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, and PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 made up 63% of digital sales on console. So there you go.
Nice. It's once again PS4 is in the lead here, so not surprising, but yeah, Guess people like having games in 1080p.
Yeah.
All right. What else happened this week?
Minecraft has sold 500,000 copies in Japan on PlayStation platforms, including 200,000 copies on PlayStation Vita since the game launched there last year. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, not tremendous shock. Minecraft has sold gangbusters everywhere it went to, which is, by the way, once again, Minecraft owned by Microsoft now.
Mm-hmm.
Which turns out to be the wisest decision they've done in a while, just letting it continue to be on other consoles.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with, the inevitable Minecraft too.
But. That'll probably be an exclusive, and yeah, I think a lot of Xboxes are going to be sold around that time.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
All right, this is some interesting news. Lionsgate, the film company, has made a significant investment in Telltale Games. Last year they announced plans to expand into games, and I guess that means making a significant investment in Telltale. The amount of investment was not disclosed, but it's significant enough to warrant placement of a Lionsgate executive on Telltale's board of directors. Lionsgate CEO John Feldheimer will be joining the developers' governing body. No specific new projects were announced, but apparently, what the plan is, they didn't announce something specifically, but what they're working on apparently is a quote super show. The plan is to integrate a single story across television and game segments to create a single episode of a super show. Because of development cycles, obviously the episodes will be spaced further apart than TV shows. Telltale says it will be shooting for predictable schedules, something that it hasn't always been the case, with its releases. The first such endeavor will be an original IP, which is interesting. And finally, in addition to the Lionsgate CEO, the developer has also added Unity CEO John Riccitiello, who formerly was of Electronic Arts. So 2 new people on the board of directors, and some crazy super show are coming from Telltale and Lionsgate. There you go.
What are your thoughts on this, Joe?
I don't know, because for all the great work that Telltale has done, adapting all these different properties, Fables, A Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, Borderlands, and whatnot, this will be their first crack at an actual original IP. And for the result to be a super show across TV and gaming, that's gonna be interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, I also am not sure how that works. Does that mean like some episodes will be a TV show and then the other episodes will be a game, or
no clue?
Yeah, it's like, are we going to play the game and they'll get the results of like who made what decision, and then they'll make the next episode based on that? And also the fact that now that they're being adhered to a schedule kind of freaks me out too. Because Telltale before, you get the next episode when you get it, essentially. I mean, maybe they'll tell you like a week or 2 before it comes out that it's coming, but there is no like schedule. Like for Game of Thrones, we don't know when Game of Thrones 3 is coming out. Mm-hmm. Or episode 3 is coming out. But now that they say schedule, and, if this is going to be on TV, you'd have to think it'd be kind of a weekly thing or bi-weekly maybe. And I'm kind of curious if they have to adhere to a schedule, is that going to ruin it? Because, being complete in a 100% video game, and there being no schedule, they have the time to make it as good as it can get. But now time is against their side because now they're in with a movie company.
Yeah, it's going to be weird.
Indeed. And also begs the question, does MGM understand why the studio is successful and be willing to give it enough room that it needs? Or do they just see this video game as a toy to sell in conjunction with a show or something like that? And as such, will it suffer the same fate as quite a few video game adaptations of movies? So, yeah, I don't know, Joe. But I'm worried. So, what else happened? What else happened this week?
Let's see. IGN ran an interview with Rocksteady Games founder Stephen Hill, where he revealed that Batman Arkham Knight will receive the series' first M rating. M for mature. Of course, the previous Batman games have all been T-rated. Arkham Asylum, City, Origins, even though Origins wasn't, Rocksteady was still a teen-rated game. Stephen Hill said in the interview, quote, "From our point of view, we never wrote it or made it with the rating in mind. We never did that in the previous two games. We just felt that this is a story that we really wanted to tell. In terms of creating a story with such strong characters, sometimes they lead you in interesting directions. They lead you because you know who they are, and you build a world around that. As the end of the trilogy, we have every villain in Gotham working together to destroy Batman," Hill said. "It's unavoidable that some bad stuff is going to happen. But that does not mean we changed our approach. We're not including gratuitous blood or swearing. We want to deliver a true end with no compromises, and it takes us to some dark places." So I don't know what exactly kind of situations lead to an M rating if you're not adding gratuitous, gore and swearing, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. That's a weird thing to happen with the Batman.
I'm getting the impression that this video game isn't going to end with Batman and Catwoman in Italy sharing a glass of water. Hey, I have a feeling Batman's dying. What about you?
I don't know. I don't see how that would necessarily lead to an M rating, though.
Well, here's the thing: the previous games, even Origins to some extent, are pretty freaking mature as it is. It's like I never really paid attention to the rating. I'm kind of surprised that it didn't have it to begin with, because quite a few people get axed off and murdered right there in front of Batman, and it's usually in pretty gruesome ways. Especially
he's off camera.
That's true, but you see the body afterwards. I remember one guard in Asylum where it looked like his mouth was ripped open a little bit, not enough so you could see freaking flesh being ripped off, but it was just unnatural. It looked kind of like one of the victims in The Ring, if you remember that movie. Hey, but it's going, I guess, full tilt.
I guess I'm not sure if that's the best thing, because being Batman, it's that's probably the idea of it being closed off to a certain part of its audience. That's not necessarily the best thing for Batman, right?
Well, once again, I don't know, because these video games were always pretty gritty to begin with. And granted, the guy was getting shot off camera, but he was still getting shot. So I don't know. I think it'll work out fine in the end. I don't think they're going to be going with you see Joker and Harley having sex. No, I don't think it's going quite that direction. But I'm interested. I'm very interested, especially since did you see the trailer for that just got released for Arkham Knight?
Malcolm, I didn't.
What is your thing with trailers, out of curiosity?
Well, I know I'm going to buy the game, so I don't want to see anything about it.
Oh, for Pete's sake, they don't. It's not. They never reveal spoilers in these things, man.
Well, trailers are. I just don't like trailers in general. It's just let me. I know I want to buy the game, but just let me experience it on my own.
For Pete's sake. But anyway, within this trailer here, they've already talked about this. Essentially, Scarecrow has united quite a few of the villains, including Penguin, who's bald now, spoiler. Poison Ivy, who looks amazing, and Riddler, who looks even crazier than in any of the previous games, and Two-Face, and it's them making this declaration to Batman that tonight, is the end. This is it. This is the final showdown, and you get to see some nice scenes of Batman kicking people's butt with the Batmobile, including one nice move where he uppercuts a guy into the cannon of the Batmobile, and as the guy flies back, the cannon shoots at the guy's back and propels him off screen. Which I assume is, of course, it shoots a giant beanbag, which, because Batman doesn't shoot people. Now, I will ask you this, Joe. I've been waiting to ask you this question. Did you hear about the Arkham Knight comic that just got released yesterday?
No.
Yeah, the people who did the Injustice comic book series, which was supposed to be just leading up to the video game, but got so successful that it's still going on to this day, started a comic book series based on Arkham Knight, which picks up immediately following the events of Arkham City and continuing on to Arkham Knight. And they released their first episode. It's 99 cents on Comixology. And I'm not sure how it's going to be, whether it's going to be like one comic a week or something like that, or if it's just one a month. But I hope it's one a month because it's pretty short. But
No, it's probably going to be once a week.
Yeah. But
digital comics usually weekly.
Yeah. So I'm pretty enthralled by it. I will tell you this much. After reading it, I'm starting to rethink that the Arkham Knight is not going to end up being the Joker. Because at the very least, there's some like really powerful evidence that it shows that are like, okay, it's kind of impossible now. But at the same time, they're like, this could just be like a giant slip up just to get people to calm down. Say, okay, look, it's not going to be just Joker again. Because that's what they do in the Arkham cities. It's the WCW of Batman stories because they can't figure out how to push someone other than the Joker as the top guy. I mean, Arkham City, I was really pumped thinking that it would be Doctor Strange being the one that pulls all the strings. But no, it just ended up being Joker again. So this time, I like what they're doing with Scarecrow. Scarecrow is scary in the Arkham cities, man. It's pretty incredible. Even though I'd love to find out how he survived Killer Croc at the end of the first game. But I like the idea of him as being the final boss and like what he could do, because they had a lot of fun with the Scarecrow levels in all the games. So, or at least in the first one.
Yeah.
They had a lot of fun there, and I can only imagine what they'll do in the finale. So, it should be pretty interesting. But I would recommend the comics series, Joe, if you have the money. It's $1 a week. Give it a shot. All right. What's the next story, man?
Let's see. Rockstar Games has given us a couple of updates on GTA 5. That's doesn't affect us.
Out.
Well, not on PC.
Oh, okay.
That's coming on April 14th now, by the way, rather than March. That's been pushed back a little bit. But more importantly, GTA Online is getting its online heists on March 10th. So there you go.
Nice.
So, obviously the heists were the best part, or the best missions during the campaign or the story part of the game. And people want to do that online, so now you can finally do that. Real thing.
Now I'm stoked for it showing up on PC. Finally, not because I have any interest in playing it on PC. It's just seeing the mods that people come up for this game are just great. I've seen Ninja Turtles, I've seen Batman, Wolverine, I've seen friggin' Harry Potter. People have a lot of fun with the GTA series, so I can't wait for the mods personally.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, anything else to say on this one, Joe?
Not really.
All right. What's next?
All right. So Drive Club still not out on PlayStation Plus, but Sony would like you to know that it's not been canceled, even though new doubts have been cast over its existence. Jim Ryan, who manages Sony Computer Entertainment Europe, says that, quote, "It's still being looked at." So there you go.
Oh, all right. Give me one sec, because I think they posted a follow-up story on it today.
Yeah, basically just saying that it's still coming, even though it's crazy that it's not already out. But whatever.
All right. Let's see here. Okay, yeah. Give me 1 second here. Say something to stall for time, Joe.
Something to stall for time. You ready?
Okay, how are you this useless? Come on.
What are you even looking up?
I have had to stall for you quite a few times here.
But what are you even looking up?
All right. Contrary to may have heard recently, Sony is committed to...
Yeah, I just said that.
Let's continue working on approval. All right. Oh,
I literally just said that.
Okay. I'm just making sure it's the right thing. Hang is all. For Pete's sake. All right. Continue.
All right. Some alpha and beta news here. Tom Clancy's The Division, first of all, will likely get a public beta, or public alpha, rather. Some folks over on Reddit, some, I guess, let's say, Cavalier fans over there, turned up some details on the game's website by digging into like the HTML or whatever, and with some real work in there, they found a tab on the official page for the game that just read public alpha or just alpha, and yeah, that's probably safe to assume that that's going to be a real thing eventually. There you go.
All right, interesting.
Nothing else on that?
No. Well, right now something is blaring on my speaker here, and I'm trying to get it to stop. There we go. All right. I apologize. I actually missed all of that.
Okay.
All right. In summary, what happened?
Tom Clancy's The Division is getting a public alpha because some people on Reddit dug into the official site's HTML and found a tab for an alpha on the website. So there you go.
Alphas seem to be the thing nowadays, ever since Destiny did one of them.
Yeah, and with the game as connected as, The Division, it's probably a good idea.
I'm actually pretty excited by this news. I've been looking forward to the Division ever since I first saw it. I think it could be a really, really fun RPG to get into.
Yeah.
As long as it, doesn't Destiny it up, a little bit. Hey, look, and I've been getting back into Destiny, don't get me wrong, thanks to one of our listeners, RK, really, stepping out and helping me as far as getting equipment and what have you, and God bless him for doing that. But at the same time, my big issue with Destiny is they don't do anything new. They just try to figure out ways to make it take even longer to get stuff. Like before, when you wanted to get like a certain item, like say from one of the generals to get rare gear, you had to get level 3 or something with them. Now, in order to get an item, you need to reach that level, and you have to get a thing of commendation from them. Which, in order to do that, you only get one every time you go up a level. So now you can't just get all the gear. You get one thing of gear, then you have to level up with them again. Then you can get another piece of gear. Then you have to level up with them again. It's just that they seem to focus all their attention towards making the game take too long.
Yeah, it sounds real great.
Well, it's like the grindiest game ever, which, it's succeeding. I mean, you can say what you will, Joe. It's like people are playing the heck out of this game, man.
Man, that's a shame.
But yeah, the Division looks, as long as it doesn't do that, where I have to like level up with this house in order to buy one rifle. I mean, it looks like a lot of fun. Just finding and creating a home base, scavenging for items and what have you. I mean, as long as there's plenty of stuff, it could be really good. But
yeah,
we'll see.
We will see.
I mean, imagine how depressing it would be if you play the alpha and you find out you played 1/4 of the game, such as what you did with the alpha with Destiny.
Yeah. Oh, man, that was a bummer.
It's like, oh, wow, I can't wait to see the other Earth levels. Nope, just this one. I mean, once again, as much fun as I had with Destiny, especially, playing Destiny with friends is the fun part of it. Like, every good story I hear about Destiny involves playing with other people. And playing with RK is probably the most fun I've had. Or playing with any of my friends is the most fun I've had on that game ever. But still, it's so much. Like, I love the sniper rifle that I got in the game, but it took like 40 hours to get that sniper rifle. Jesus.
Oh, man. These are all ringing endorsements.
Oh, yeah. So Division, have more than one level on Earth, so that when we go to Mars and what have you, anyway, or just have more stuff, please. All right, Joe. Anything else to say on the Division Alpha?
No.
All right, what's next?
Street Fighter V is getting an online beta.
Ooh.
Release. They announced this on a PlayStation blog. Let's see. The announcement says that we will be performing the largest and most ambitious online beta program in franchise history with Street Fighter V on PS4 and PC. These tests will be essential to collect your feedback and to ensure that Street Fighter V is the best iteration yet. In North America, players who pre-order the game will automatically be enrolled into the beta program. And on top of this, I guess they confirmed Charlie Nash as a character as well. So there you go. Here's your Street Fighter news.
Oh, for Pete's sake. All right. So I actually watched the trailer because Joe, as well as not watching trailers for games he wants, he doesn't watch them for stuff he doesn't want either. So they finally showed off Charlie for the first time, and he has like a very Frankenstein's monster-looking thing. As you can see, like it looks like different body parts sewn onto him. It still looks like him from Alpha, but certain parts of his body look like they're beginning to rot. And he's got some new abilities, as well as the old style flash kicks that made him and Guile so famous. He also seems to have like shadow powers as well, as he's able to sort of turn into black mist and suddenly appear behind his opponent at several times. It's actually pretty cool, and he looks very badass. So I like the changes to him. I'm very curious to see what the backstory is behind him. And at the end, yes, there is story, Joe. Jesus. And at the end of the trailer, you get like a little tease of M. Bison. So who knows? Maybe he's the next character to be revealed. So,
boy, that'd be a big surprise if they confirm M. Bison first.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That'd be a big get.
I'll be interested to see who they make the last boss, because while I defend that there's a story with Street Fighter, the end bosses that it picked ever since 2 make absolutely no sense. Like, you remember the last guy from Street Fighter 4?
Seth, yeah.
Yeah, what the hell was that, Joe?
Well, the real life backstory with Seth is that it's actually the character is named after Seth Killian, one of the guys who worked on Street Fighter. He joined Capcom after kind of just stalking the Street Fighter team at different events and just kind of saying, "Hey, I love Street Fighter," and then he's kind of was super great at Street Fighter, and they hired him to help with Street Fighter 4. And
to honor him, they made him this repulsive alien-looking thing in the game. So with like a yin-yang ball floating in the middle. It's like,
well, more accurately, they made him an overpowered boss.
Yeah, that's the thing. They always make the bosses overpowered. That's the unfortunate thing with fighting games. Like, they're trying to make the last boss as difficult as possible, and in that attempt, they always make it like ridiculous. Like, more famously, the last Mortal Kombat's, the bosses had the ability to just say, "You know what? I'm just going to ignore you hitting me to hit this one overpowered move."
Yeah, that is unblockable.
Indeed. But I hated Seth. Like, he could take off like 80% of your health at like any given moment, or he could just heal himself completely full for just out of nowhere. Oh, hated him so much. But yeah, I wouldn't mind. And buy some. Yeah, okay. It's just like, I'd be kind of upset if he wasn't in the game.
Yeah, it's like if Mortal Kombat was like, "Hey, big surprise, Sub-Zero's in this motherfucker. What up?"
Oh yeah. Don't get me wrong. It'll be
it's
nice.
Like, no shit.
Oh yeah. Keep in mind, the only up until this point, the only characters quote unquote confirmed for Street Fighter V are Chun-Li, and Ryu, and now Charlie. But come on. I know Ken's going to be in there. I mean,
yeah, like, just put a master list of like, these are all the returning characters, like, and then just after that, announce all the new guys. Like, hey, look at this guy that we made. Doesn't he look cool? Look at his awesome moveset. Like, oh, all right, do that. Like, we know fucking Ken's going to be in the game. You don't have to announce Ken. Just put them in a list with all the other returning characters. Like, yeah, of course you're getting all these guys. And over the coming weeks and months, you'll get to see all the cool new guys we're making up.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they should do with fighting games. I don't know why you don't.
Yeah, unless the plan from this point on is to, like, show a different character each week. But, you know they're going to probably hold off M. Bison until, like, E3 or something like that. Like, here's the big reveal. Oh, M. Bison. How about that?
It's like, oh, E. Honda. Couldn't have guessed. Couldn't have guessed that E. Honda's in a new Street Fighter game.
Dulcim confirmed. I mean, come
Blanca?
on.
For real?
Ladies and gentlemen, your worries are over. Rufus has returned. Ken's. That was a great way to honor Ken. We're gonna. Okay, you need a rival. We're gonna give you this fat American, and I didn't even know what his fighting style was, but. Anyway, so there you go. Be excited. I'm excited for the alpha. I'm happy that more and more games are starting to do this because, Joe, say what you will about Destiny, at launch the servers did not have a goddamn problem. Those servers were up all day, man, every day.
And Street Fighter V will be a more ambitious title in terms of its online, and that it'll be cross-play between PC and PS4. So it's definitely worth something. It's definitely something worth testing out before launch.
Definitely. All right, what's the next story, man?
Speaking of fighting games, Dead or Alive 5 released last week on PS4, last round, and apparently there's a game-breaking bug in there. If you have the German, Spanish, French, or Italian versions of the game. Team Ninja, the developer, issued warnings on Twitter for these editions. The bug in question occurs in tutorial mode lessons 40.8 and 40.9, which apparently freeze the game and corrupt its save data. The tweet says very simply, quote, warning, DOA 5 last round, all platforms. Please do not play tutorial mode lessons 40.8 and 40.9. And the developer apologized and stated that it is trying to fix it ASAP. And again, this affects all platforms. So, if they haven't fixed it yet, I would say hold off on that for a while.
God damn, wow. Or you can be like me and just don't buy the game, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a viable option as well.
All right.
I know RK enjoys his Dead or Alive, so I mean.
Well, there's a lot of reason to enjoy Dead or Alive. But,
one very specific reason to enjoy Dead or Alive.
I can think of two. All right.
It is very base, very base reasons for enjoying.
Revolutionary in physics engines. All right. So what is next, buddy?
Interestingly, some new modes and tracks and cars have been added to Gran Turismo 6. I mean, the cars aren't necessarily, revolutionary. They've been updating with Vision Gran Turismo cars that, they've partnered with about 20 different manufacturers to, design cars exclusive for the game. They've been tricking that out since the game released in December 2013. But with the latest update, version 1.26, you also get a new track, or rather a new edition of an old track, Midfield Raceway, which was introduced in Gran Turismo 2, an original track created by Polyphony, but has not been seen since Gran Turismo 4, despite its popularity. And there it is now in Gran Turismo 6. So that's cool. Also, they finally added the B-Spec mode, which I think was promised a long, long time ago. The B-Spec mode being basically a spectator mode where you can basically have the AI drive for you rather than, having to grind out the endurance races yourself. You can just tell the AI to do it for you. So you don't have to dedicate 24 hours at Nürburgring, for example. You can just make the AI do it for you because who the fuck would do that? Who the fuck would do that? So glad to see that finally make its return.
Nice.
There you go.
Now, you're the car guy between the two of us, Joe. You're really happy about this? All these changes?
Yeah, like the Vision Gran Turismo cars have been really cool so far, so it's always nice to see those. Midfield Raceway is one of my favorite tracks. I always wondered why it never made its way to the PlayStation 3 games. Completely absent from GT5, and just now making it to the GT6. And the B-Spec mode, again, is very useful because I did one B-Spec mode race in Gran Turismo 5. I did the 24-hour endurance races, which is a real time 24 hours. But thankfully, I had the B-Spec mode to do it for me. I just told it. You just kind of tell the cars you tell the AI driver how to behave. Like if you want them to drive more aggressively or conservatively, you give them the car and you go about your day. Because, why would any human being say, yes, I'm going to race 24 real hours in a virtual car? 24-hour races happen in real life, but, those guys, that's a racing team that races an 8-hour shift. There's 3 guys per race, basically driving one car. They get out of the car and do other things while the other guys take over. But, you don't have that luxury when you play the video game. So I've never understood why they did that.
Oh, man. Well, that's pretty cool. All right, so what's next?
All right, a site called Junkie Monkeys.
Monkeys.
Dug up a trademark over in Europe for Twisted Metal. Sony apparently filed for Twisted Metal as a trademark over in Europe on February 19th, 2015, which is, I guess, semi-interesting. The trademark already exists because it's the whole franchise of games, so I don't know why it's a super huge deal. But I guess, if anything, it suggests that maybe they have plans for the franchise in the future. I don't know.
Oh, not surprisingly. Keep in mind, they've been, what did they say, 12 studios working on, all working on PS4 games, and some haven't even been announced yet.
Right. I'm not sure that Twisted Metal is part of that plan. Because
you don't think so?
No, because the last game that released on PS3 in, 2012?
Yeah, a while ago.
Sold like shit. Nobody bought it. Nobody cared. Even though, it was built up to be, closer to Twisted Metal Black than the games that followed it. And, David Jaffe was worked on it, and, they had a demo and all that. Like, it was a very true to life, Twisted Metal. Like, it was a good game, but by the time it came out, people have moved on from Twisted Metal, I guess.
Oh, yeah. I remember playing it. It was serviceable. I thought it was, like you said, quite good. I thought that, having the drivers be able to drive any car was a little much, though.
Yeah, that's true. It's like the way it worked was teams, right? Basically, there were 4 or 5 vehicles, basically, right? Mm-hmm. With different kinds of cars. Like Sweet Tooth, you could drive, the ice cream truck, or you can have or other things, right? Is that how it worked? I forget.
No, they could, Sweet Tooth could drive any car. He could drive, that car that was basically 2 gigantic wheels. He could drive the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Or he could drive his Sweet Tooth, his ice cream truck, which transformed into a mech comedically. Once you... Otherwise, because that Sweet Tooth truck was kind of lousy, and once you could move Sweet Tooth out of it, it's okay, why would I ever play this then?
Yeah, just really, I don't know, something about the game just didn't click.
Yeah, I could still see them doing this, just for the fact that it would be on PlayStation 4, seeing how people take to it. Plus, they've got a lot more of an audience than they did back in those days.
Not necessarily, because the novelty of the PS3 game was that it was a PS3 game. It had been so many years since Twisted Metal had come out with a new game, and the install base was much larger than the PS4 game, or the PS4 is now even. There were way more than 18.5 million PS3s when that game came out, and no one cared anyway.
Well, I guess we'll see, because, last time I checked, Ascension didn't sell well, and they're still making a new God of War.
Yeah, man, God of War Ascension, that wasn't good, was it?
No, it wasn't, which is a shame. Shame, because I really loved the first 3 console games, and the PSP games are fantastic too.
When Frank Underwood's character when Frank Underwood over at House of Cards, when he becomes vice president in season 2, they start beefing up. He doesn't want to move into wherever it is that the vice president lives normally. He just wants to stay in his house, so they have to beef up all the security in his loft or condo or whatever. And that includes beefing up all the network security or whatever. And he tries to he goes into the basement to play PlayStation games every now and then. and he tries to play God of War Ascension's multiplayer, and he can't connect. And they tell him that they can't play online anymore because it's a big security hole network-wise. So that's the first and only time I've ever seen someone upset about not being able to play God of War Ascension online.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that's where they introduced the multiplayer. But yeah, I've seen him play like several times in this show.
That's like, okay. Like, literally the only time someone's been upset about not being able to play that game online was Frank Underwood in House of Cards.
I think, I'm trying to think, why did they make it such a big deal that he plays God of War? And I'm guessing, I guess that would be the character closest to Frank Underwood, I guess.
Like, here's an irredeemable asshole. Playing another irredeemable asshole.
Oh, yeah. That's an amazing series, by the way, if anyone hasn't seen it yet. Season 2, the way that starts, Jesus Christ, man. All righty, Joe, what else happened?
Let's see, we got some sad news here to report. Gaming pioneer, or Atari's pioneer, Steve Bristow, passed away on Sunday at the age of 65. He was one of the engineers heavily involved in the development of Atari's arcade and home console golden age. He was a large part of, I believe he designed Tank. I don't know if you ever played Tank over on Atari, but yeah, he did that. He helped conceptualize and design Breakout. I don't know if you remember Breakout.
What was it about?
Bouncing the ball on the paddle.
Oh, yeah. The game that would become Alleyway on Game Boy.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah. Back when I was a little kid and was not at all that popular at school, I actually befriended my teacher, who invited me to her house to hang out with from time to time, and she had like every Atari game ever. And I played all of them, from E.T. to Breakout and Tanks and all these other different games on it. It was actually pretty fun. I enjoyed it quite a lot. So yeah, it's a shame. Atari was like, I want to say like the first major step in evolution for the game industry, and it sounds like this guy had quite the hand in most of it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, God bless him, and thank you.
Yep.
Anything to add, Joe? Or
no.
All right. What's next?
All right, we got some game announcements here, Malcolm.
Okay.
In terms of release dates and whatnot. Dragon Quest Heroes, I don't know if you remember this from a little while ago, has been confirmed for North America. Will come exclusively to PlayStation 4 sometime in 2015.
Nice.
Square Enix made a post on the PlayStation blog. It's basically all they said there. They said that, expected in 2015. No specific window or anything, just later this year, I guess, at some point.
Well, Dragon Quest is huge, I know, over in the East. Not so much in the West, but it still has its fans. So happy to hear that, we're getting that adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
Not much else I can say on that. Aside from that, as I'm not huge into Dragon Quest, but
you can imagine how much less I am. Let's see here. Sony announced its annual Spring Fever sales event on the PlayStation Store. This time, rather than 4 weeks, it's going to be a big-ass 8-week event spanning basically 2 months. And on top of the usual 10% discount that you get for being a PlayStation Plus on the launch week for each of these games, this also serves as a giant, basically, release date announcement for many of these games. So, Helldivers will be kicking off the event on March 3rd, followed by, on March 10th, Hotline Miami 2.
Ooh.
Wrong number.
All right.
Which will be hitting PlayStation 3, 4, and Vita. So that's nice. Jamestown Plus will be hitting PlayStation 4 on March 17th, followed by Metal Slug 3 on PS4, PS3, and Vita.
The game won't die. Wow.
It will not. I mean, I love Metal Slug for sure. I love that series, but I feel like I've bought Metal Slug 3 and Metal Slug 2 8 different times.
I know.
So that one is basically the only really, probably the least notable out of all these. But following that, on March 31st, Axiom Verge on PlayStation 4. Super excited about Axiom Verge. And following that, on April 7th is Bastion on PlayStation 4. Titan Souls follows that on April 14th on PS4 and Vita. And then closing it out on April 21st, Malcolm, Shovel Knight, PS4, PS3, and Vita.
Oh, wow.
So a hell of a promotion, a hell of a lineup. I'm looking forward to a lot of those, Malcolm.
Yeah, I assume one in particular.
Yeah. Well, I mean, more Axiom Verge than anything because, I've already played Shovel Knight, of course. Loved it.
Yeah, but did you fight Kratos?
I did not. So, of course, I am excited for it.
Now, Axiom Verge, is that the one where it's a lot of flashing?
I don't know. It's a lot of glitching. I know that.
Yeah, a lot of flashing.
Metroidvania.
Yeah, I know the one. It looks good, but if you're epileptic like me, spoiler, probably not the game for you. But no, it looked amazing. Like I was like cursing myself for being epileptic. So yeah, it looks really good. But I like the mechanic of using glitches to get through the game. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and let's see. I think a lot of these are cross-buy, basically. Anything that's multi-platform is cross-buy. And some of the stuff, too, like Bastion, Axiom Verge, or Bastion and Axiom Verge will be launching later on PS Vita as well, and will be cross-buy as well. So.
Yeah, Bastion I'm really looking forward to. That was previously an exclusive on Xbox, but now finally has made its way over to PlayStation.
Yeah.
Hotline Miami 2 is really, really awesome. And Shovel Knight, if you weren't like me and were able to procure a 3DS or a Wii U to play it, you no longer have an excuse. It's a fantastic, fantastic game. Soundtrack is amazing. It was my personal pick for Soundtrack of the Year here last year. And, a lot of fun. So you're going to look forward to that. I mean, it's a pretty impressive lineup, I have to say.
It's real good.
Yeah.
And also they also announced that each of these weeks, different game and movie franchises will be on sale as well. So look forward to sales on Lego, Saints Row, Assassin's Creed, God of War, Batman, Dragon Age, GTA, and Call of Duty week by week. So.
Nice. Wow, 2 months of awesomeness. I'm really stoked.
Indeed.
All right. What else happened this week?
Danganronpa, another episode, has been announced for North America, Malcolm.
Ooh.
This is, of course, coming to PlayStation Vita, and will basically bridge the story of Danganronpa 1 and 2. So, there you go.
Nice. Which, sadly, neither me and Joe are huge into that series. I should probably just watch a spoiler video at some point just so I can talk about this.
I've bought both games recently. They've both been on sale. Like, I think Danganronpa 2 is on sale currently, and the original was on sale about a month and a half ago. So I've gotten both games. I just need to find some time to play them.
All right, well, let me know when you do.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
The Castle game. That is the title. The Castle game is coming to PlayStation 4. I think this game was at PlayStation Experience a little while ago. People seem to like it. It is, the description is, it says you build your fortress using a variety of medieval weaponry. Archers, knights, sorceresses, catapults, traps, and more are at your service in your fight against the minions of evil. You can create elaborate mazes with walls and traps, or build an impenetrable fortress with spiked walls and burning oil, backed up by archers with flaming arrows, knights at choke points, and long-range catapults that rain stony death. So essentially, it sounds like a tower defense game, where you kind of build your own, I guess, castle to try to defend. There you go.
All right, well, you can't have too much tower defense games, I guess.
You cannot.
All right, what's next?
Let's see, some rumored games. Last week, we talked about Rock Band DLC coming out very prophetically, with two very prophetic tracks. Basically, songs about redemption and coming back to your roots and whatnot. Meanwhile, Bloomberg Business Report cites a source that says that a game is indeed in development for current-gen consoles, such as the PlayStation 4. So that would be Let's see. Polygon contacted Harmonix for comment on the report, and they released the following statement saying, quote, "We're excited by how enthusiastic our fans have been in regards to our most recent DLC releases, and we think it's awesome that people are speculating about the future of the franchise!" Exclamation point. While we don't have anything to announce, hundreds of thousands of unique users are still actively playing Rock Band games each month. This passion our fans have shown for Rock Band over the years suggests that Rock truly hasn't died, and we've always been clear that we'd love to return to the franchise when the time is right. So that source saying that the game is in development is probably right.
Wait, saying that the game that in development is true or not true?
True.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Well, so, me and Joe, basically squealed about it a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, I'm really excited that a new Rock Band game is coming. I think, granted, Guitar Hero sort of drugged the name of music genre into the toilet, so much so that they had to ease off for 3-4 years.
Speaking of, there's also a report telling Kotaku, two separate sources telling them that Activision has a new Guitar Hero game in development as well, that they will show off at E3 and release later this year. The new title, which one source says will be announced at E3, takes a, quote, more realistic approach than previous Guitar Hero games.
Actual chords.
Yeah, I don't know if that means that it's going to be like all the other games that started popping up. Yeah, where you got to plug in a real guitar, or if it's going to be, more realistic visuals rather than the cartoony characters that we know and love. But there you go. And of course, Malcolm, the last Guitar Hero game was Warriors of Rock, Guitar Hero 6, essentially, which was released in September 2010. So it's been a while.
Oh God! Wow,
yeah. Yeah, since then, both what is it? Neversoft and Red Octane, the two studios that worked on Guitar Hero, after Activision acquired it, they've both been closed down. So I don't know who would be developing it.
Indeed, yeah.
So very interesting.
I'm sure Activision will find somebody.
Yeah.
And if I was to have to make a guess, if it's coming out this year at all, I would say Christmas time.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll come out in October. Probably October. Yeah, that's when pretty much all the Guitar Hero Rock Band stuff always came out in October.
Oh yeah, I remember the games being tremendous sellers at Christmas too. It's all people got are hey, my kid needs the new Rock Band, so yeah. So yeah, I can't wait for that. Should be pretty interesting to see how it's received as well.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Let's see. Final bit of news that I've got here comes from NXT wrestler Sasha Banks.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
A fan on Twitter asked her if she has been scanned for WWE 2K16 because he needs, with several E's, to be able to play as the boss of NXT. And she said, "Yes, I did." So there you go. Confirming that, of course, WWE 2K16 is in development. I'm just excited to play Sasha Banks because she's awesome.
Indeed. By the way, the NXT Divas champion, or is it women's champion over there?
Women's champion.
Oh, much better.
Women's.
The women's champion over at NXT, a fantastic wrestler, and cousin to Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, I did not know that until very recently, and I was like, well, I didn't already have enough reasons to love her dearly.
Indeed. And Brodus Clay, by the way, who was the bodyguard of Snoop Dogg. All right, so Snoop Dogg was already attributed 2 wrestlers into the industry, so thank you, Snoop Dogg. But
for his contributions to the art form.
Indeed. They should release a WWE game that's just NXT. And I would still happily buy it. Hopefully the 2016 game, once again, not a tremendous shock that WWE 2K16 is coming, as it's been a yearly thing.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's found a way to get a lot of the modes that it lost in the previous version back.
Yeah.
As 2K15 is the first one that, or 14. Is it 15 or 14?
15.
15 is the first one that I actually skipped, just due to the sheer amount of modes that were left out.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll find a new developer for it.
Really? You think they'll just drop 2K?
Not 2K, Ukes.
Oh.
Not the publisher.
It may be about time. I mean, they're 2K, Yikes or Ukes or whatever. It hasn't, Yikes indeed, hasn't really done anything new with it. The character models are still highly scrutinized.
Yeah.
And a lot of the decisions they made, especially with the last game, are highly questionable. Plus, the freaking single-player campaign from the first one was kind of a joke as well. So, yeah. So, I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah, I mean, they've been working on the games since SmackDown, the very first SmackDown on PS1. They took over after THQ. I guess this didn't go with AKI, who did these N64 games that everybody loved so much.
Yeah, AKI man from the previous games. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's time.
Yeah, I fully agree. All right, what's next?
That's all I got.
All right, time for the drop.
Woo, yeah. All right, new games this week alphabetically. Desert Ashes on PlayStation Vita. I believe that's free to play. Yes, I'm not sure exactly what that game is. Let me see. It says here, Desert Ashes is a turn-based strategy game with online multiplayer and single-player campaigns, which also boasts an innovative menu system allowing players to enjoy multiple games at once. The day-night system has a dynamic twist, battles, including weather conditions that can affect the battlefield map. For example, all bodies of water have the ability to freeze overnight. So that's the description for that. Free to play, so if you want to check it out, go ahead. Dragon Ball Xenoverse is out on PS4 and PS3 at digital and retail. $59.99 on PS4, $49.99 on PS3. A season pass is available for that as well, and a season pass bundle is available for that as well. There you go. Dynasty Warriors 8 Empires is out on PS4 digital retail for $49.99. You know what Dynasty Warriors is. I don't have to explain that to anybody.
No.
This game on PlayStation Vita is completely unpronounceable. It's literally all just like literally somebody mashed on the keyboard. HTOL #NIQ the Firefly Diary.
All right.
Whatever it is, however you pronounce it, that's available for $14.99 on PlayStation Vita. Also on Vita is Hyper Devotion Noir Goddess Black Heart. That's available digital retail for $39.99. Limbo is out on PS4 finally. That's been out on Xbox One for a little while. Finally making its way to PS4. I believe that is $14.99. I'd imagine it's $14.99. I don't know. It's not showing up on the PlayStation Store update with the price, but it's out. For sure. Resident Evil Revelations 2 Episode 1 is finally out on PS4 and PS3. You can get the individual episode for $5.99, or you can get the season pass for what is it, $25? Malcolm, do you remember?
Yeah, $24.99. I'm actually really, really considering this. It looks pretty cool.
So I mean, each individual episode will be out every week, basically. Episode 2, 3, 4. Is it 4 episodes or 5 episodes?
I believe it's 4 episodes.
Okay, so basically every week you'll get a new episode with that. So cool. Rugby 15 is out on PS4 and PS3 for $49.99 on PS4, $39.99 on PS3. Starwall, it's just Starwall. I don't think they removed just the tip, unfortunately, as a subtitle. But that's available now on PS4 and PS3 as a cross-buy title for $11.99. Not a bad deal at all. Under Night in Birth XXE : late. Jesus Christ, this fighting game looks nice, but Jesus Christ, that title. PS3 digital and retail for $39.99. Yeah, from the companies behind Guilty Gear and BlazBlue comes Under Night in Birth EXE late. So I guess that explains the terribleness of the title. And finally, Xevious 3D/G Plus is available as a PS1 classic as well. So there you go.
Alrighty.
And also PlayStation Vita turned 3 this week, I believe. 3 years old, so they're holding a big birthday sale on Vita games.
Indeed, and very interesting, and some very nice titles in there, which sadly I have quite a few of. So, but
Well,
hey, if you're
picking anything up,
what's that?
picking anything up.
I was debating here and there about a few, but I don't know. Like Muramasa Rebirth, for anyone who doesn't have it, that's a fantastic one to grab. So,
Yeah, was that on PlayStation Plus? I don't remember.
no, I don't believe so. At the very least, I know I bought it. And so, I don't know.
Yeah, like, let's see. Looking at this, I mean, there's a lot of stuff here on sale. Things like Tales of Hearts R is probably worth looking into if you're an RPG fan. You can get that for $20 on PlayStation Plus. You can get something like, say, like I said, Danganronpa 2 is on sale. Or was on sale, I think. I'm not sure it's included in this sale, actually, now that I think about it. But other stuff is available as well. So just go check it out. You can pick up Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified. Remember that hot mess for $10? The first time it's actually been on sale at all, I think. The original price is $49.99 still to this day. Sale price $15 or $10 for PlayStation Plus. If you have a morbid curiosity, you can check that out for pretty cheap, I guess.
Nice. All right. Is there anything else that we need to go over, buddy?
No.
All righty. Well, folks, a little game came out, a little exclusive called The Order 1886, which I had a chance to sit down and play very quickly. How well was it? Well, let's find out. Topic of the week. And we're back. All right. So The Order 1886 came out, Joe. And I don't know if you heard, but it's under quite a bit of controversy.
Well, is it?
Yeah. Mainly, all right. So one thing I'll tell you right off the bat. The game is not 5 hours long.
Is it 5.5 hours long?
No, it is not 5.5 hours. You need to be focusing pretty freaking epically, incredibly, in order to beat it in 5 hours.
Okay. How long did you beat it?
Well, mine was, I would say, 10 hours, but that was mainly due to the fact that, I died quite a few times. I would say that if you do it perfectly without any problems, it'd probably take you 8 hours. If you're like actually listening to the story and not just running past enemies and what have you, which I don't know if you can actually. I never tried, but no, I would say 8 to 10 hours depending on how well you are. And if you die a lot, hey, it's going to take even longer. See, that's the thing I don't think people take into account, like difficulty. Like, you're not. Is it really expected that you're going to fly through this game with like no problems? No. But just to go through here the notes here, I broke it up into like 4 segments. So the big positive for this game are the graphics. Now, beloved, I know quite a few of you are out there, and you're saying, "Oh, come on, Malcolm, it's a next-gen game. Of course it's going to look good." No, you don't have any idea how good this game looks. There are quite a few instances where I swear it was like actual footage and not a video game. Like the level of detail, clothing physics. Actually, I think this is it. I think we actually achieved it. The clothing actually moved just like real clothes move, and there are like several scenes where like. People get eviscerated or get their heads ripped off, and you see like the anatomy of their insides, and yeah, that looks pretty spot on actually. But yeah, it's insane detail that really just to see the graphics. I would say you should play this game just to see just how well it does. I mean, there are no load times. Everything is quite seamless. And on top of that, and games don't get credit for this nowadays because quite a few games like screw up on this part. But when a game doesn't, we don't really care because it's supposed to. No, there are no bugs, there are no glitches. I didn't fall through the earth. Characters had their face. I mean, everything was really, really good. And once again, the level of detail, like objects can get got destroyed during firefights. Like there was this room that looked kind of like a museum that I was having a fight in, and the bullets would like shatter into the display cases and destroy what was ever in it as I was trying to take out these guys. So the graphics and detail to this game are top notch. I would dare say it's currently the bar for how well a game can look. Very, very impressive. As for the story, I liked it. I really, really liked it. Like, I thought it was very engaging. I liked how the characters interacted, and I loved finding out the relationships between certain characters, like the main character, Galahad, and he has a partner named Izzy, who's like a girl. Their relationship, the more you find out, the more interesting it becomes. Galahad's relationships with his mentors as well as everyone within the order.
What is the story, though, exactly?
Okay, so and keep in mind, when I say as best as I can explain it, I'm also trying to not give out spoilers here. But essentially, Galahad is part of this group called the Order, which is essentially the Knights of the Round Table, who quite a few of them have existed for centuries. Like Galahad is, by all intents and purposes, the Galahad that existed way back when. They find this thing that they call black water, which is this black liquid that when you drink it, it restores your health, so to speak. So if you
good.
Yeah, if you're like mortally wounded, this will actually happen in the game. If you're like mortally wounded, if you can get to cover, it'll tell you to press triangle, and you'll whip out this little vial that all the knights wear around their neck that contains the black liquid, which is then produced from their own blood after they drink it initially, which is essentially water from the Holy Grail, by the way. But once they drink it, much like in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, it heals you from anything. Like, to give you an idea how well this fixes you, there's a character who gets her back broken and is dead. But, Galahad basically stuffs the black water down the throat, and she wakes up a little bit later. So there is it's a cure-all. And you know what? I appreciate the fact that they try to explain this video game a little bit. Like, how's my character able to take so many bullets and like all of a sudden recover his health and what have you? They tried to explain that, which I appreciate.
Wait, so is there any real danger in the game then if you just have this liquid goo?
Oh yeah. You can still die. They make it a point to say like it can heal you, but it doesn't make you immortal. Like,
okay. Well, if one character was already just plain old dead and they came back anyway.
Yeah, well, I guess it would be better to say like she still had life in her.
Okay. That's not really that's kind of the opposite of dead, but okay.
Okay. All right, fine. I thought the character was dead, but anyway. Okay, so they went from being the Knights of the Round Table to being the Order, which handles a lot of things that for England that can't be done, I guess in the main focus. They do a lot of stuff behind the scenes, and it's mainly dealing with supernatural stuff as well as some domestic stuff. Like in the beginning, you're taking on a lot of rebels that are attacking the government, and at first you don't know why, but you find out later. And you face supernatural stuff, namely werewolves in this installment. And that's about as much of the Order I can say without going into spoiler territory. Because essentially you're with Galahad and his group, which consists of Izzy, a really funny Frenchman called the Marquis, who's like a new member of the group, and his mentor / partner Percival. That, in fact, if you look at the cover of the game, those are those four characters right there. So it mainly follows you with this group as you not only try to figure out the rebellion, but also try to protect everyone in the Order as well. And the plot takes a lot of twists and turns. Calm down, Lucky. There are kids playing playing outside, and he's like getting in protective mode. But anyway, hey, so that's the story of the Order in a nutshell here. The characters, like I said, are really fun and interesting. The story is engaging. Like when I had to leave to go to work, I wanted to get home and finish up the rest of it. So once you get into it, you'll get into it. However, the story is a little cliched. Like there are certain parts where, like, you know, the old "I'm only 2 days away from retirement" type of deal. Mm-hmm. Well, no one says
somebody die 2 days before retirement.
No, but there are like certain times you'll see a character say something and you'll be like, "Oh no."
and the thing you fear is what happens?
Yeah.
Oh. That's damn.
This is the biggest knock I can make on the story. Cliffhanger ending, Joe.
Oh, God.
To such a point, like the
like
main. Go ahead.
Like you think it's just you're going to start a new chapter in the game, but it's actually over and the credits roll instead?
Oh, yeah. There's the game is 16 chapters long.
Okay.
And at around the point I started the 15th chapter, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to wrap this up in 2 levels. And sure enough, I don't. Like the main bad guy is still alive and he's still in power. I mean, you take out one guy that really was like a minor part of it, and then that's it. I mean, there's
so nothing's really resolved.
Nothing's really resolved. It's like left so wide open for the sequel. It's ridiculous.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah, it does. And however, I can say I don't think we're going to get any DLC from this because after all the backlash and what have you, we would have heard something about a season pass or something like that by now. Or DLC. Yeah. So,
yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, so nothing's wrapped up. So, and it's kind of, oh, come on. But all right. So, and also the music, I really enjoyed the music. I thought it added to the mood during the cutscenes, which there's some really, really big moments, too, in this movie, which, once again, I can't tell you about because spoilers. And it added a lot to the gameplay, especially the firefights. Right? So those are really good, too. Now we get to the gameplay. This game feels like a take of a Telltale game to me because it's a lot of story. In fact, so much of it is story that some chapters are just cutscenes.
Really? Like there are entire chapters where there's no gameplay?
Correct.
Are they like long chapters?
No.
Like what's the length of one of these chapters?
5 to 7 minutes, maybe 10.
It's a long time to go without playing a video game.
It is. Actually, I would say 5 minutes max, but yeah, there's some times where I'll be playing a level and then all of a sudden this cutscene happens and then the next level will start and I'll notice that it was like I skipped a level. It's like, wait, was that cutscene? Because if it takes place in a different area of the game, then yeah, that was a chapter because it's very focused on the story. So much so that it does a lot of the quick time events as mini games and just for the simple sake of having something to do. The firefights, now some of the weapons in the game are really, really fun. The arc gun, which shoots lightning, the detonator, which basically lets you shoot mines that you can remotely explode. The thermites, which is like probably the best idea for a weapon in the game where you press one button and it fires like this gas at the enemy. And when it gets close enough, you can press the second button, which sends out a flare at the gas, which causes a massive explosion. It's actually really cool in watching the people go writhing in pain and what have you. But yeah, I enjoyed those weapons, but at the same time, you don't get a lot of time with those weapons too, because you'll either use it for one section of the firefight, and by then you'll be out of bullets, so you'll have to switch to a different gun, or in the case of the thermite gun, it was introduced early in the game for like one section of one part of the firefight, and then my guy like puts it down, and that's that. And on top of that, there are some games that you just simply don't see again. Like you get this gun, which is for all intents and purposes is an RPG, but you use it for this like one section of the fight, and then after that, it's gone forever. Once again, it's 8 hours if you're absolutely perfect. Like, I don't know how that guy did it in 5 hours, but
I mean, so is it essentially a cover shooter then? Is it the Gears of War clone gameplay wise that I kind of expected it to be, looking at gameplay videos?
Well, keep in mind, I haven't played too much of Gears of War, but yeah, it's a lot of seek cover, shoot, and move on. Seek cover, shoot, move on. It's a by the numbers shooter, really. I mean, it doesn't really innovate or do anything new, with the exception of those new guns. But as far as the actual shooting part of it, that's what you're looking at.
Is there any sort of like variety in the gameplay at all, or is it all just cover shooting?
It's all cover shooting, really. I mean, there are different kinds of enemy. Like, certain fights are pretty interesting. Like, the werewolf fights are pretty intense because a lot of it is like waiting on them to show up. But really, once you figure out what you need to do to fight them, which is essentially believe it or not, back yourself into a corner, because then the werewolf can't jump you from behind, so they can only attack you from the front, and then you can dodge and shoot them, and then when you knock them over, you have to run over and impale them with a silver knife.
Interesting.
Yeah. And once again, the animations of these fights, like especially after you stab them and they're like morph into like half human, half dead werewolf, is pretty incredible. They're later on in the game, the enemies start using those weapons that I was telling you about. So you have to learn how to deal with the thermites, the detonators, and what have you. And even more annoying is that some of these guys are wearing like the suit of armor, which makes them somewhat bulletproof.
Great.
Which like begs the question, because none of the people in the Order have the suit of armor, but it's so clearly worthwhile to have in battle. It's like, why can't I be like the suit of armor guy, for Christ's sakes? Because there were times, I swear, I shot one like 20 times in the head and he didn't go down. I was like, friggin' A. Hey, there are certain sections of the fire. They don't do it a lot, but there are certain sections of the game where they sort of do what Killzone Shadowfall did, where like, okay, we need this part to be tough, so let's just throw in a lot of enemies for the guy to deal with, and it's sort of like it kind of killed the enjoyment a little bit, mainly because like this section that in particular I'm thinking of, small spoiler, the place is on fire. Which I can't stand it when henchmen attack you in an area that's on fire. Because why are they risking their lives? Do they hate you that much?
Yeah, it's always annoying.
Yeah, it's just simple logic, people. But yeah, it's like some chapters, like the game is like, going back to the cutscene part. The game is like 16 levels, but not all of those levels are you going to play. And there are some levels that are like really, really minimal gameplay. Like, I think it was like chapter 5. It's literally all you do is walk till you get to this certain point, and that's the chapter.
Wait, so how long are the longest chapters, would you say? I mean, if there are so many parts where it's like, here's a 5-minute chapter and here's another 5-minute chapter, what are the longest chapters like? Well, or how long are they?
Well, it's like, they realize that it's kind of a bummer, those levels, so when there actually is a section where it's like gameplay, they can go on for some time. Like, there are quite a few chapters, like, am I still in the same chapter? My gosh.
I mean, it sounds like pacing-wise, the game could have used a lot of work.
Yeah, I kind of felt like they rushed this game. Like, surprisingly, it didn't hurt it from a technical standpoint. Like I said, it's incredible. It's just that from a gameplay standpoint is where it kind of suffered, because there's like little else to do. Like, I remember hearing this interview from this writer who actually worked for Telltale, and I believe it's like up on the Game Over Greggy show. But anyway, he talked about how it's different writing a game for Telltale, in which he'll say like he'll show them like pages of script, and like every paragraph they'll ask him, okay, what is the player doing here? Because that's at the end of the day they make a video game, and even if it's just a decision, give something for the player to do. And I think they're trying like this. This felt like an interactive movie. It felt like not to the extent what Telltale will do, where you can actually shape, where it's a video game in a sense where you shape and affect the course of the story. Like this felt like if you're not looking to play like too much of a video game, or if you can't decide whether to play a movie or a video game, like this would be a great medium for you. I mean, like I said, I was like interested in the story and seeing what happens. So I played it primarily for that. Like, this is not going to be like a great gameplay experience, but at the same time, the story kept me enthralled. But the story wasn't exactly the most powerful of things. Like, it's nothing to the level of Last of Us. Oh, imagine if it was to the level of Last of Us. I'd say like. It's like this game is like very much a definition of an average game. And even worse, there is absolutely no replay value to this game.
Really?
Yeah, like there's nothing that you have to unlock. Okay, I'll say there is like there's two things possibly. One asterisk is if you're a trophy hunter.
Okay.
There's a reason to go back and replay the game. But there's also these artifacts or these little things hidden throughout the game as well. But sort of like think, Uncharted, where each level had like several treasures hidden.
Yeah.
But there's no way to know how many there are.
It doesn't track it?
No. And even worse, like if you want to go back and get them, you have to start from the beginning. Like you can't just go, I'll do this chapter, I missed this. No, you have to go through like from the level that you started missing them to the end so that it'll fully register.
Boy.
Exactly.
Wait, so is there like a chapter select at least?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, even if you go back and do that, it doesn't unlock anything. It doesn't give you an ultimate gun. It's
not even like a harder difficulty or anything?
No. Like,
okay.
Difficulty is all there right at the beginning.
And, how hard is the game, though? Like, what are the difficulties like?
Okay, it can be pretty challenging. Like, there's stealth. There are parts of the game where it's like stealth, where you're sneaking around. These tend to be kind of aggravating because typically when you want to stab someone in the back of the game, you just quickly press the button. But in this one, no. It's like you see the triangle button, but then you'll see like this circle that closes in on the triangle button, and you have to hit the triangle button just as it enters the circle button.
So you're telling me that they managed to combine stealth and quick time events?
Mm-hmm.
And is it fun?
Like for me, I'm used to just pressing the triangle button as soon as I see it. So when it would do that, I died quite a few times because if you screw it up, the guy just sees you and shoots you, and that's it.
Oh god! Because for stealth sequences, unless the game is exclusively a stealth game like a Splinter Cell or Metal Gear Solid, where it's a pillar of the gameplay, randomly inserting like stealth elements in an otherwise bombastic game is always kind of ill-advised, I think.
Oh yeah.
Because it sounds like you should be able to just press the triangle button and just be like, yeah, I got one over on this guy, he should be dead. But to make it so that you still have to do other things in between, it's like, no, this guy didn't pay enough attention and he deserves to die. That should be the end of that, right?
Yeah, and even more frustrating, like say in this section of the stealth game, there are like 5 enemies you have to kill, and you kill in order to move past. And I make it to the 4th one, and I blow it on the button press. He shoots me, and then I have to start over with the previous 3 guys that I killed back up and running, so I have to redo the whole thing, killing everybody. And until you get good at it, it's really monotonous. Yes, but
how long are these sections? Are there more than one?
Oh yeah, there's one part of the game, this one chapter where half of it is sneaking around. Like you go from one part to another part to another part to another part, sneaking around and taking out guards and what have you.
How much of your gameplay time would you say is devoted to stealth?
Nowhere near as much as the cover shooting. Like, I would say there was like one part of sneaking around in one of the first levels in the beginning, and then after that, it's this level that I'm talking about now, and it's not until I think it's like the third or fourth to last level of the game.
Man, I gotta tell you, the pacing sounds kind of terrible.
It's pretty average. I mean, it's pretty much run into a section, get into a firefight, and get some story. Like I said, I wish I could tell you more about the story, but it's actually really, really enjoyable. But the gameplay is really average. Like I didn't hate playing The Order. Yeah, I really didn't. I actually looked forward to the time I had it. But after I beat it, that's it. That's it's like I beat it Wednesday, and that very same day I went up to GameStop and asked them, what the trade-in value was. I'm going to trade it in towards Bloodborne, which thankfully I know that will be around for a while. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a story that if you do PlayStation games that you should absolutely experience. I think at the very least it's kind of like the first Assassin's Creed, which I wasn't a fan of, but it laid a foundation down that could make for some really, really impressive games. Like The Order 1887 is going to be really good. I think it will be, and I'm actually excited for it. This game is sort of, lays like, okay, this is what we got. And what they got is really impressive. It's just that there's obviously still learning as far as, how to make it good. Good. Now, using our 4-point system here.
Well, before that.
Sorry. Yeah. Well, you have any other questions for me?
Is it all white people in this game? Is there any colorization in terms of the population of London in 1886?
Yes.
Okay. Are they cool characters?
They're amazing. They're very awesome characters. Very kick-ass, too.
They get to do a lot of cool shit?
Mm-hmm.
None of them?
I would dare say that quite a few central characters to the story, especially to the last part of the game, are ethnic characters.
Any reason they couldn't have been part of the main order?
Well, mainly because they lived in a different country at the time of the order, and B, they're kind of on the rebel side.
I mean, are they criminals?
In the eyes of the order, but...
God damn it.
Yeah.
They're criminals, aren't they, Malcolm?
They're not... No, well, Joe, you're telling me to spoil the game. I'll tell you off camera, but they have their reasons, and it's a really good reason.
Oh, God.
Let's just say Galahad really, really understands their reasons afterwards.
Okay. Damn it.
Don't worry, Joe. Here, I'm going to send you a little message here that maybe will help you feel a little bit better. But essentially, yeah, trust me, these characters are quite a big part of it. Like, I wish I could tell you it, but some people actually do want to play it, or chances are they played it and already beaten it already. But anyway, so yeah. Any other questions you got for me, buddy?
I guess I think we pretty much covered it.
Yep. So just to wrap it up here, we have a 4-point system here on the firmware update for games. We don't do grades. We don't do stars. We tell you one of 4 things. You should buy it now. Whether you should buy it now, whether you should wait for it to go on sale, whether you should rent it, or whether you should skip it.
Okay.
So once again, this is something I think you absolutely should play. So skip it is off the table. However, at the same time, as much as I like the game, as much as I love the characters, and feel that this is a story and a game that everyone should experience, especially for the incredible level of detail on the graphics, which I think going forward is what people are going to try to reach with the game. And plus, once again, no glitches in this game whatsoever. Amazing, and no load times. At the same time, I can't justifiably tell people to spend $60 on it. Considering that there is no replay value on this whatsoever, unless you're a trophy whore, then this is a fantastic game for getting trophies.
Is it possible to get a platinum in one playthrough, you think?
No,
No?
No, because I believe the same guy weren't you the one who told me that like somebody had to like play it some more for 9 hours total before they got the platinum?
Well, I don't know how many times they played through it, but just that they got a platinum in 9 gameplay hours.
Okay. Well, on that, I didn't try, so I don't know. If there's a game attached, if there's anything attached to difficulty, then if you're able to beat it on the hardest difficulty, then sure. But there's a lot of stuff to do, whether it be incinerating certain people, and it's quite a few people because the trophies didn't start kicking in till like late in the game. So I would give this game a very high rental, whether you get it from GameFly and beat it in a weekend or what have you. I'd say that would be the way to go for it. However, if you get it on, if you're able to see it on sale for a good price, I say go for it. Greg Miller has already speculated that at E3 this year they announced during the Sony conference that Order 1886 is the free game for the month on Switch. I could very easily see this at the very least when this being a PlayStation Plus game just before the sequel comes out. But I would give it a high rental. Don't spend $60 on it. Sadly, it's not quite worth that much.
What would you say is the sweet spot price-wise for this? $30?
Yeah, I would say $20 to $30. I would be okay with $30, to be frank. This is one of those games where if you see it on sale for 50% off, grab it.
Okay.
Alrighty. So that is our review of the Order 1886. Do you agree with me, or did you think that it deserved higher or lower? Write into us to the show. You can do so either by leaving a comment below on the YouTube video or writing into the show to FirmwareUpdatePodcast@gmail.com. Or we even have a Twitter account @TheFirmUp, and just let us know what you think. Speaking of the mailbag, we have a topic as RK texts in, as he knows us well enough to have our phone number. And when you write in, you can be like our pal RK, who writes in, so Saturday morning my phone overcharged and started melting around the charge port. Oh, goddamn. Couldn't recharge my phone, and Verizon, oh, there's your problem, RK. Should have gone with AT&T. Had to ship a replacement, but the cold weather we had, everyone has winter, Jesus. Like Joe is fighting the winter. We just got hit over in North Carolina, for Christ's sakes. It's shipped a replacement, but the cold weather we had in the south this week delayed my package till last night. Been without a phone, and since my phone is the only source of the internet, is my only source or internet. Oh, wow. I haven't been able to communicate with anyone in any fashion or game online in any capacity. If you guys haven't recorded the podcast yet, I want the topic to be about the gritty Power Rangers fan film that recently came out. If you haven't seen it, search YouTube for Power Rangers /Power/Rangers. before the creators of the 90s show has it removed. All right, Joe, you and I both saw it. So, Joe, what is your... Now, for those of you out there who don't know, this is not really a movie. It's a teaser for a fake movie that's never coming.
It's basically like a 15-minute fan film.
Indeed. And the fan in this case is actually the guy behind such movies as Dread, that amazing... It's actually some pretty substantial people behind it. The guy behind Dread and The Raid, he did this one. Not because he's a fan. He actually makes it a tremendous point to note that he's not a fan of Power Rangers as all. He just did it to do it. It's like, he actually is quoted in saying, "I'm not a fan of the film. This 15 minutes that you see here is all I have in me to do anything with the Power Rangers. If whoever owned it came up to me with $200 million to ask me to do the movie, I would decline because I'm not a fan of the film." And it also has some pretty noteworthy actors in it, including James Van Der Beek of Dawson's Creek fame. But anyway, this is a very dark...
All the greats working on it.
Oh, yeah. It's very dark. It focuses on the main cast and what happened, because apparently, if you follow the timeline, this is if the Machine Empire took over. You see quite a few of the Power Rangers get shot up by other forces. It's very, very interesting. It's a very interesting take on it. Joe, what did you think?
I thought it was real dumb.
Like, how so? And please don't say I don't like Power Rangers and that's why it's dumb.
Well, I mean, as any child of the 90s, I appreciated the Power Rangers back in its heyday, the Mighty Morphin variety especially. Mm-hmm. I've since tried to watch some of that stuff. You can't go back home, I guess, is the lesson there. Probably shouldn't rewatch the Power Rangers. Just leave them as fuzzy, happy memories in your mind. Because I tried watching that movie again, I was like, oh man, this is rough stuff. But besides that, I just think I just feel like it's all flash and no actual substance to this thing. So it's like, hey, look how weird it is to see Power Rangers throwing and shooting each other in the head. It's like, what? It's like, this isn't like, it's visually very stunning, but I mean, otherwise it's like, this is all just empty calories, basically. It's just not like the most interesting thing about those characters, and as they are imagined here, is that they suddenly swear a lot. It's like, okay.
I will say that I thought this was a very interesting take. Like, it's a fan thing. Like, the guy made no money on this. He literally just did it just to do it.
I'm pretty sure he's making money on the views.
No, he's not making money on this. So, well, he made it a big deal to say he's making no money off of it. So I imagine I would have to think he's not, but I digress. That's neither here nor there. He just did it for whatever the reason, just because apparently people have always been saying, believe it or not, Joe, wouldn't it be cool if the Power Rangers was gritty? Because, yeah, let's make everything dark and gritty, folks.
Who asked for this? Who asked for dark and gritty Power Rangers?
I mean, artistically, I appreciate it just for the different look of it. It was interesting, like the scene where Zack, the Black Ranger, infiltrates North Korea and has a knife fight with a guy was pretty intense and actually acted really well. I thought James Van Der Beek was very awesome in this, at playing the turncoat Rocky with the cybernetic leg implants. And Tommy, the guys that got to play the other Rangers, and was pretty impressive too. And however, I'm kind of in the camp with Joe that my memories of Power Rangers, I prefer it to just be, colorful and happy and not having people freaking getting shot in the head and what have you. I mean,
it's like, really? Did we really want to see Billy kill himself?
Yeah. Or see Jason get shot up in his truck after getting married to Kimberly. Like, no, I mean, I prefer it to be the goofy, happy, over-the-top show that it was. I mean, it would be like, let's make a mature-rated Disney film. No, you just just let the princesses be princesses, and that's that, for Christ's sakes. But but at the same time, I appreciate that him trying to do something different, and I don't know if I quite believe that he's not a fan of it. The very fact that he went through all this trouble to do something like this, I think he has a little bit of fandom in him, but I liked it for what it was. My opinions of it, preferring it to be the happy show that I remember it, notwithstanding, I am actually against the creators trying to get this pulled off YouTube. Because, once again, he's not using any footage from the Power Rangers show. He's not using any of the actors. He's not using any of the music. Like, all the music he got was made for this little short.
Well, the credits music is a remixed version of the theme song.
Still, it's remixed. There's only...
the entire premise is based on Power Rangers. You can't just be like it's very... I think it's cool that it exists, and I think the creators should leave it up. But I don't think that the original creators are out of their bounds to say that they want to take it down necessarily. Just because it's like what are you doing to our characters that we created? Like, we didn't approve this.
Well, you at the same time you got to be careful, Joe, because think Red versus Blue. That not only was like something different, that was actually using the freaking game engine to do.
Oh, I know. I'm saying that they should let them keep it up, but I'm saying that they're not out of bounds by saying that they don't want it up.
Yeah, I don't agree with it at all.
Then you don't know how intellectual property trademark stuff works.
I think I do, Joe.
Do you?
Yeah, and I listened to the music at the end, and in rethinking about it, that entire thing was like, it was their own version of it. It wasn't taking like the actual song and auto-tuning it or even using it in like a rap form. No, they just like played their own different version of it that wasn't the actual version in the show. Like, everything in there is their own thing. And this is like no different. Like, if I like post a picture of a Power Ranger on YouTube or Facebook, whatever, does that mean Saban could take it down? No, this is like within their right here. This doesn't hurt Power Rangers at all.
I mean, yes.
No, it doesn't. How does it hurt Power Rangers?
People look at it like what? I mean, it can affect the way people look at Power Rangers. Like, whether it's it's not up to me to judge it, obviously. But I mean, if Saban's like, I don't like this portrayal of our characters, and like, it's within their rights to say we didn't even approve this in the first place. So I mean, I'm not saying I agree with them saying that it should be taken down, but they are well within their rights to say so. That's just how it is.
Like I said, I still don't agree. In fact, I will say that I'm impressed with YouTube in the fact that it's still up. Like, they did this in VMO. That other YouTube, that other video sharing site immediately took it down. Like, yep, all right, whatever you say. YouTube kept it up. YouTube is usually the first to buckle whenever some creator even like gives the notion that like, hey, they can have this up. It's almost as if YouTube is like, there's actually nothing here from yours, with the exception of it's a dude dressed as a Power Ranger, and even that's not actually the suit that they wear. It's their own unique take on it. But it's an artistic view. I think
it's probably because YouTube is making hella bank on people going to this thing in droves.
Well, especially if he's not saying, pay me for the advertisement, then they're making a lot of money. It's on, I believe last time I checked, it's at 70 million views or something like that.
I don't think it's that great. I think it's like 12 million when I watched it earlier. 11.7.
11.7. Okay. Is that where it's at right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, still, that's a lot of views.
Yeah.
It's a lot more than I did at the Geek Link, but I think that has a right to be there. He's not planning to if he was planning to make this an actual movie and sell it, that'd be one fucking thing. But like, I remember a while on Kickstarter, this guy was going to do this Final Fantasy movie and wanted funding for it, and Square rightfully said, no, fuck you, dude. You didn't okay this with us. But, that's I thought it was, for what it was pretty awesome. I mean, I think it shows also that not everything works as a gritty reboot. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, Warner Brothers there. But But yeah, I thought it was an interesting take, and it was all right. But once again, agree with Joe. I like my Power Rangers funny and goofy, and not shooting up cocaine. Freaking A, Zach, what happened?
I did enjoy Zach's karate Taibo thing.
Hip keto?
Hip-hop keto?
Hip-hop keto.
That was nice. That was good. But other than that,
I know.
Didn't care for it.
At least let the guy just have him post like the whole footage of him doing hip-hop keto and just leave that. Yeah, that was priceless. That was a fun little nod. Okay, here's something to laugh at.
I don't know if you watched Key and Peele, Malcolm, but they did this pretty awesome sketch where it was basically kind of that, where it's like a 1980s like jazz competition or jazz dance competition or whatever, and it's real great. You should look it up.
All right,
I love Key and Peele. I don't know if you watch Key and Peele, but it's perfect.
Yeah, the guys from Good Burger, right?
No.
Or that's Keenan and Kale.
Yeah. Oh. Malcolm, no.
Welcome to Good Burger. I love those guys. Not those guys.
Incorrect.
All right, you'll send me the link afterwards. Folks, that does it for episode 135 of the Firmware Update. Thank you so much for joining us. If you like what you heard, if you use Apple, you can hit that subscribe button on podcasts, on the podcast app, and you can get us each and every week. If you can leave us a 5-star review, especially a written review, we would greatly appreciate it, as that helps the show. If you have Android, don't worry. We're also on Stitcher Radio as well, where you can stream us every week from your phone. Or, if you'd rather download us and save on those data charges, I recommend an app called Pocket Casts, where you can get us downloaded as well as stream us. And it's only a one-time fee of $3.99. Starting today, you can also find us on YouTube. You just search for us and listen to the show in the background while you surf the web. You can even find us now on SoundCloud as well. So enjoy that. And hey, while you're looking around at podcasts right now, maybe you can check out another podcast we do called Slam University, where we've already done episodes on Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, and John Cena, where every couple of weeks we talk about a different wrestler and take you through his entire history and why he's important to a sport. It's a very, very fun episode, especially enjoying that last one we did on Andre the Giant. Which, Joe, I have to ask, have you seen The Princess Bride yet?
I have not.
What the hell, Joe? You've got family. Tell her to bring the copy over and you'll watch it with her.
All right, yeah.
All right, there you go. Spend time with your family. Come on. You don't do that enough. Anyway, we're also on Twitter, as I said earlier. The podcast is @TheFirmUp. Or you can follow me @PSMalk, and you can follow Joe at Wands23. And Joe, is there anything else that I'm forgetting?
No.
Groovy. All right, folks, thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Toodaloo.